What is up, ladies and gentlemen? Manny here. Welcome back to the channel. Today we are going to take a detailed look at one of Leonidio's jams, at one of Greece's jams, I might say. It's a route called Capricorn, graded 8C+, or 514C for the Yankee Doodles out there. It was bolted by James Pearson, if I'm not mistaken, and first ascended by a fellow Austrian climber called Kilian Fischhuber. You might know him from bouldering competitions. He was really good in that style, really dominated for quite a while. And it was originally graded by him, 9A. So we're looking at a pretty hard route here. Fate had it that at some point later, I think the first ascent happened in 2014. And at some later point, I think 2 years ago or something, Alex Megos came around the corner and flashed this thing and downgraded it to 8C+, 514C, which I think is a more appropriate grading. That's just my personal opinion. But yeah, anyway, the route is just amazing, regardless of the grade. Amazing sequences, amazing moves. So we're gonna take a look at it. I have kind of a special relationship with this one because I was already in this route for one time when I was in Greece, in Leonidio, climbing for the first time, which was just about over 3 years ago. So it's crazy. Time really flies by. I made some videos, some YouTube videos back then already about more and more routes and other stuff. So I already had the YouTube channel back then, which is kind of crazy. So yeah, the character of the route is short, rather short, I must say. We're talking about 12, 13, 14 meters or something like that here. It starts off here, as you can see, with one pretty hard move, which is coming from this undercling onto this edge with the right hand, and then you're gonna, as you can see, you're grabbing this rail here with both hands and try to climb over this little slab of rock here. When it comes to rock quality, a bit to the right, the rock quality decreases immensely, in my opinion. It becomes really jossy and strange, but the color is really beautiful, as you can see. And to the left, you have these amazing Leonidio Greece, characteristic tufas, as you usually see on Greece climbs. The rock quality there is quite amazing. So now we've climbed over the first hard part, this first little boulder problem. The route is, I would say, you could dissect it into two sections essentially, which is the start or the first few meters, which is around, I don't know, 8-9 meters of the route or something, and then the end, which is really the crux, which is really where the juice of this route lies. We've got a couple of gastons here, nice pinch for the left hand, and as you can see in the beginning is not that hard. You just basically, the goal in the beginning is to climb as quickly and as efficiently as possible to save energy for the end. And as you can see, I'm having to put the quick draws in here. So climbing as efficiently as possible is not really possible for me here, but I'm doing my best to link all the sequences together. I would say the first part is roughly 8A until the boulder crux arrives, and then it really starts. The grind with this route is really starting, as you will see. So here I'm taking something with the right hand, which is actually off beta. This is not correct. This is just a super small crimp, which you shouldn't even grab. And that's why I'm sitting down here for the first time. Now, what we have here is kind of a big edge for both hands. And then up there, this undercling. The undercling is kind of bad, and as it usually is with these underclings, you gotta have some sort of foothold to push yourself into it to make it holdable. And we're gonna check out in a second what I exactly did to do this. The route in general, and especially in the crux, is a bit morpho, so I'm gonna try to mention also the betas which are usually done by climbers, and where I, so to say, digress from the normal quote-unquote beta that is done. As you can see here, high right foot, sorting the right hand into this undercling. This is just a beautiful sequence as well, matching onto this bad pinch here, really high left foot again, and then locking this undercling off to make a huge move to the left. Now here I'm doing a mistake, I'm grabbing further. This is something that you should not do, and hence I'm standing here in a second, looking around, trying to see what I have to do here. But in the end, I'm in a dead end here, so I have to sit down again. Now, when it comes to video beta of this route, there is a video on YouTube actually of Kilian Fischhuber where he does the first ascent of the route, and it's quite interesting to watch him climb because he's not much taller than me here, and he is very, very stretched out on some of the moves. So the route was kind of intimidating to me at first because I knew, okay, we've got some big moves here. And usually, when it comes to this hard routes that are this hard, if they contain also big moves, it's just gonna be very hard for me, right? But when I checked it out for the first time 3 years ago, I really had this amazing success event that I basically could on-site it to the crux, right? And the route is really luring you in that way. It's just not that hard at the beginning, and if you're having a good day and you're pushing through, you're in the flow, you could climb this one to the crux quite solidly actually, even though you're miles away from a red point on this route, right? And that got me really motivated back then to at least at some point try it again when I come back, and this is essentially the time now. So as you can see, we've crossed over here, not gripping further, crossing over onto this quite significant crimp here for the left. But here I'm deciding, okay, chickening out here a little bit, rather getting the quick draw in to not fall down so much again, to save a bit of energy. And here already, like, if you would have this down, if you would have this sequence down properly, you could climb to this point here probably in 30 seconds or something. Here it already gets pretty hard. What we see up there is a pinch on the left, which is one of the crux holds, and then a very, very far away Gaston on the right. And you can see this in one of Petzl's videos actually, where Dave Graham does the route. I mean, it's not really going about the route because actually it's kind of a commercial for the Cree Plus as far as I understood it. As you can see here, sorting in this pinch here for the left hand, really high foothold. Again, chickening out here a little bit, rather trying to get the quick draw in than doing the actual move. But this is because the move that is coming up is actually, for me personally, the by far hardest route in the by far hardest move of the route. Grabbing the brushing here. I was talking about Dave Graham just before, who is quite a bit longer than me, and in the video of Petzl filming Capricorn, he was pretty much on-sighting or flashing the route up until this move as well, and there he fell because it's just actually such a far move. And you will see from a mechanical point of view, it's also quite interesting because it's not that you're arriving at your target hold with so much speed that you can't hold it, right? It is rather that the forces just pull you away from your target hold again, and the target hold is just not looking in the right direction for you to hold it. But we're gonna see what that's gonna look like in a second. We're sorting in the left pinch again, intermediate hold for the right hand, really high right foot and left foot, as you can see here, and this is the move that it's all about. You basically have to dynamically reach over to this Gaston, which is also around the quick draw, which is kind of a bit annoying, and actually the reason why they replaced one bolt here, because with the replaced bolt you don't actually have to go around the quick draw so much, right? You're arriving at the target hold quicker, and this way the move gets a bit more natural and a bit more easy. So here we see it again. It's just super close. You have to sort all the fingers in of the right hand perfectly. And I tried everything when it comes to this move. I tried a drop knee, I tried frontal climbing, and in the end it turns out for me that I have to do the exact same beta as everybody else who did this move, which is just getting the right foot real high and trying to arrive at this Gaston as slowly as possible. And as you can see here, I had a very good feeling. I was very close to doing it, but my right foot slipped. And what you can see here already as well, unfortunately, is something that happened shortly after. and that is that I'm getting completely killed by the Leonidian Greece sun. Again, intermediate, and we're slapping onto the gas sun, and this was the first time that I actually did this move, which means for me that I actually did all the single moves at some point of this route. So this was by far the highlight of this checking out session, because from now on it pretty much goes downhill kind of rapidly actually, because the wall heats up so quickly. As you can see here, you're hanging then on this gaston, and you gotta have something for your left foot to continue climbing. But yeah, I'm celebrating here anyway because I did the move for the first time and I did all the moves. That means that I did all the moves. So yeah, we got up really early for this checkout session, something along the lines of 7:30 in the morning or something. But and we slept at the crag, so we slept quite close to the crag just to be able to do this shot. As you can see, I'm trying to do something with color correction here to get the most of out of what you see. I should have set the settings on my camera to automatic, so that if the sun comes in, it would adjust the lighting and everything. But I didn't know up until this point when the sun's gonna hit the wall, and it was actually around at 9 in the morning or something. So this route is really out of season at the moment, unfortunately. But yeah, I just wanted to get this checking out session done because I wanted to see how I do this trip, you know, if I got stronger compared to last trip. And the crux move that you've just seen before with the shoulder, the gaston, this is something that I was miles away back then, 3 years ago when I was here for the first time. So it's great to see some progression here at least. Now I'm trying to continue climbing here without losing this left foot. As you can see, I'm trying to desperately stick to this left foothold because I know if I let go from it, it's going to be so hard to reach it again. And here I'm actually managing, which was quite amazing. If you look up Kilian Fischhuber's ascent of this route, you can see that he actually lets go of this left foot, steps a little bit, and then replaces it again for exactly this move up here. It's got some really crappy pinches up there in the left, and what I'm trying to do here essentially is getting the first pinch with left perfectly to be then able to cross over with my right hand for the second pinch. Now this is another really hard move for me personally. I would say the second hardest move in the route, the hardest move being the dynamic move into the gaston. You can see really high right foot here. But the problem is that in the meantime the rock heated up so much already that my skin is getting so soft, and these holes are all really friction dependent, I have the feeling. So I'm getting killed really hard here. What I'm trying here is grabbing further with the left hand, which is how it was originally done by Kilian. Another very interesting beta, but he is super stretched out on this move, and for me it's just not really possible. So now for me the grind really starts in this checkout session, because I am aware of the fact that the rock is going to heat up more quite soon, and it's going to be harder and harder to reach the anchor actually, which is only, by the way, at this point about 2 meters away up there, right? We're in the middle of the boulder problem, of the crux of the route. We did actually the hardest move, but now it's about 6-7 more moves, some really interesting ones which I would have loved to show you in more detail, but now you unfortunately can't really see it because of the crappy lighting, that make the way to the anchor. And yeah, it's really tough to stick to it here. So we've got a power endurance route essentially here with a bouldery finish. Again, if I would have to grade the start separately, I would say it's about 8A. And if I would have to grade the boulder problem in the end separately, I would say, again, it's probably around an 8A boulder problem in total, if you're really honest. It's not much harder. But of course, linking all this stuff together is where it's really at. And this is the main crux once you start projecting this route, of course. But yeah, unfortunately, it's out of season at the moment. Here, I'm gonna show you a little bit more of the sequence. As you can see, the crossover was almost possible there, because I got into the move so much now. But unfortunately, yeah, the heat was just so strong. At this point, I'm having a lot of sweat pearls on my forehead and everything, sweating kind of intensely here. So this not helps, obviously. I'm deciding to trying to get the next quick draw in somehow, because once you've got that one in, you can make it to the anchor relatively easily. If you would red point attempt this route, you would very likely skip this quick draw, because it's just in the middle of the boulder problem, and you can't really, you don't really have the juice to do it. As you can see, the sun intensifies here one more time. It's really going up high now. And yeah, it's getting really hard. I'm trying hard to grab these greasy slopers, which actually are a few of them up there, to make it to the anchor. Here I'm doing as if I did the crossover to the second pinch. You're going further into a really crappy pocket there with the left hand, and then slapping to the right onto this kind of slopey side pull there, which is another really amazing move onto a really amazing hold, which you can't really see now, unfortunately. I'm sorry about that. Let's try again. Sorting the left foot in stepping is just really crucial in this whole boulder problem. So, and I actually had this down quite solidly already. Here you have to grab further into another sloper. I think, or I'm not sure anymore. Actually, you have to go with your left hand. Once you've got the right sloper with your right hand, you go further with your left hand into another tiny side pull, and then you're slapping more to the right on a slopey Gaston hold. So this is just a really weird sequence up there. From a technical standpoint, really interesting, because you have very crappy footholds, as I said before, and stepping is really crucial what you're gonna do here. Also from a mechanical standpoint, this is really what matters there, to have this beta down as easily as possible to not fall out if you're super pumped, because that's what you're gonna be when you're close to the ankle like that. So this is the crappy, slopey Gaston that I mentioned before, which you have to go to here. And the funny thing is, another technical detail here maybe, once you grab this crappy side pull Gaston sloper, it really matters where you have your left foot, because you can't release it anymore, as you can see here. Kind of locked in here. It's really funny actually to see. I can't really go any further. In the next few shots, I'm trying to already have my left foot at the perfect foothold, but that's really hard. That makes the moves that were previously a lot harder. So here you can see I'm trying to step really high here with left. This is what you gotta do, because then you can cross over into this big twofer that's coming down here, which is already quite good. I mean, this is almost jug quality. And then we've got a couple of last moves into a super big jug, which is up there, really sharp. If you're really desperate, you just could jump for that one, and you would probably stick it because it's very sharp. And from this one you can actually then clip the anchor. So I hope I could demonstrate at least a little bit what this Capricorn route is about when it comes to climbing. It's a really nice route, really epic sequences. I was able to do for the first time all the moves. I did also the, for me personally, hardest move. A super big span to the right into this crappy to sort in Gaston. I hope to return at some point soon to be able to project this, hopefully when the route is a bit more in season than now. I hope you enjoyed. Let me know down below via some comments and likes maybe, and I'll see you soon in the next one, guys. Bye.